in this episode.
No, I got a catheter on Amazon and it's kind of working.
Well, then what are you complaining about?
Well, I can check to make sure everything's...
himself.
I'm complaining about when I put it in earlier. That's the problem.
He's like, I don't even need numbing cream at this point. I'm just.
Well, isn't that what we just got done doing? Basically, watching Birdemic 2 is self-catheterization.
Welcome. You're listening to Paleo Cheese Podcast, episode 41, Birdemic 2 with guest Jason Brant.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Jeremiah Bannister.
And I'm Chad Lutsky.
And you're listening to Paleo Cheese Podcast, part of the Project Entertainment Network. And Chad, we have been waiting, dude, literally for how long now? It's been like, what, 2 months?
It feels like years.
It feels like years. And the thing is, I was calling you like 3 or 4 times a day, man, trying to find out if our boy Jason had watched Birdemic 1. Because if people remember, we did this really remarkable review of Birdemic, and we wanted to have someone on for the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't want
Jason
to.
on.
Yeah, to have Jason.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have Jason on. But
Specifically. Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's got his So Bad It's Good video channel. By the way, our introduction, Jason Brant, author Jason Brant, the one of the final guys.
He's here right now.
Yeah,
we're gonna do some editing magic for that.
Go buy his books on Amazon.
Well. Anyway,
yes, we wanted Jason because he does his So Bad It's Good. He appreciates bad movies.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I'm a fan.
And this, when we saw Birdemic, Jason is one of the first people I thought of. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. And I did want to mention a couple of things. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe, please. If you would like that, and then hit the notification bell or whatever, and then you can get some nice friendly spam whenever you log into YouTube and let you know that you can that we have a video up and you can watch it when you're doing whatever you're doing. I don't know, eating and procrastinating, doing whatever you should be doing instead of on the internet. But yeah,
that was an excellent pitch, dude. Yeah. We're gonna have to write that one down for a memorial.
I'm gonna go ring the bell right now.
I'm writing it down right now. It's a script.
Yeah, and you can reach out to us at our email at paleocheese with a Z as in zebra at gmail.com. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. And one of the things I want to mention real quick was recently I offered free ad space on our podcast.
Oh man!
So
Chad, don't do this,
if you're
dude.
a publisher, if you're an author, if you're a high-profile movie writer / director like Mr. Birdemic here, and you want some, recognition for all of the, person that listens to our podcast, then it's offerings for free. I mean, this is something that people pay for sometimes, maybe not on a little podcast like we have, but the messages that I got on Twitter and at our Gmail account equal to 0. So no one wants to be associated.
And it was free.
It was free. And I was going to do it tonight. So hopefully, like I said, if you've got something that you want to artwork, I don't know. I don't care, man. We'll talk about it for a minute.
Free advertising space. And you were going to do it tonight.
Yeah.
What if you listen to a podcast with one Adonis and 3 idiots and you wanted to advertise for that, where they talked about like horror movies and series and stuff?
Yeah,
if there's one out there, then we might advertise that. If there was anything out there at all that were like 4 guys, they'd have to be all cool though. So
never mind.
Yeah, okay. Well, you got my hopes up for a second. I'm like, Jason's part of a gig.
Goddamn Hunter just constantly holding us back.
But yeah, if you've got some like clean, wholesome, sober fun, where you're talking about movies.
I was going to say, what if somebody had a terrible YouTube show where they make fun of bad movies, but then you had to throw the sober thing in there?
Yeah. I'm just unchecking all the boxes for you.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, final guys, I guess I'm a Final Guys fanboy, I guess.
Oh.
I'm always in there hanging out, pretending that I'm on the show. And because they record Final Guys, Jason Brant, Hunter Shea, Jack Campisi, and some kid with long hair with horrible taste in music. Or
movies.
probably that too, but in movies, Tim Meyer. Or as a lot of the reviewers like to call him, Tim Mayer, for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, they have a podcast live Tuesday nights at 8:00. So go mingle with the people in the chat live or watch it later on. It's a great show talking about movies and books, mostly movies. I love it because it's my tribe, and I love to talk about movies or watch people talk about movies, I guess. So the other thing I want to mention was that I got this Joe Lansdale chapbook in the mail from Death's Head Press, and they're still available. It's limited to 500. I don't know how many are signed. I think most of them are not, but I got a signed.
Of course you did, Chad. Of course you got a signed one, man. Come on.
Well, Jared Barbie from Death's Head Press hooked me up with I mean, I bought it, but he hooked me up with make sure I got a signed copy. Thank you, Jared. Jared is going to be on here next week with Jeremy Wagner, and we're going to talk about their.
I miss that guy.
Their joint publication thing, Stygian Sky Media. So it's a brand new thing. They've already got one book coming out, and they've got I know they've got a crime noirish thing coming out. But yeah. So we're going to talk to them. That's all I have, man.
But tonight we're talking to Jason about Birdemic 2. Because not only did Jason finally watch it, but he went one extra, dude. Mm-hmm. It's like a cherry on top. You watched it with us, man.
Yeah. That was awesome.
I'm regretting it. Yeah.
We've never done that before. And
I do want to say quickly, that's the best free ad read I've ever gotten in my life. So thank you.
Oh, yeah. Sure. See what you guys are missing out on. This could be you.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to, because Jason blessed us with an hour and 19 hellish minutes of watching Birdemic 2, The Resurrection. We're going to try to keep this as short as possible, even though there's so much to talk about.
Is there, though?
Well, the movie dives deep in important issues like global warming and global warming and global warming.
a lot of global warming.
Yeah, just like the first one. So I'm gonna go ahead and I've got something to say quickly about Birdemic and Birdemic 2. I was excited, like I don't know if Jason was. Jeremiah was excited about seeing this because we love the first one.
Yeah.
But to me, it did feel like there was a novelty, and the novelty wore off. The first one, we kind of went in blind, not knowing what to expect, not knowing if this was just like a Velocipaster or a Night of the Were Rooster or what's the incredibly awesome one that we saw? The
Sharknadoes,
Killer Sofa. No, the Killer Sofa. The good bad one.
Yeah.
We didn't know if it was like one of those where it's like, this is just a bad movie and we know it. That's why we made it. But when we found out that that's not what this was, that this was like somebody's like their passion. This is what they, created sleepless nights writing and toiling over and sort of editing. Then it was amazing. And it was the best, to me, it was the best bad movie that I probably have ever seen.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
So when we go into the second one, when we were watching the second one, I just felt like this is cool, but it's just more of the same. And so I found myself getting bored. I liked hanging out with you guys and laughing, but at the same time, I was really looking forward to the end. Whereas the first Birdemic, I maybe could have watched another hour of it. That's my in a nutshell. Quickly about. What about you, Jason?
Well, we said before it started that I was concerned that the popularity of the first one, because it was so legendarily bad, that the director wanted to make a second one and try to purposely make it bad to kind of capitalize on the infamy of the first one. For the first half hour, I felt like we were kind of going back and forth on, no, this is just incompetent. Oh, maybe he did that on purpose. And as it went along, it really started to sink into me that I think he was trying to capitalize on the first movie by intentionally putting in bad stuff in this one. But I will say the first one is so bad that just increasing the quality a little bit would get you to where this movie is. So it is possible that the dude just has no idea what he's doing. But I kind of feel like, particularly the ambulance scene, like there are a couple things in there that I can't believe an actual human being would do in a film. So I'm with you. It didn't stick with me the way the first one did. And I think a lot of it's because he was trying to make it bad on purpose at times.
I hear what you're saying. And I part of me agrees, but part of me, I mean, all he really had to do was not learn a thing from the first movie and then just do what he's always done, because it wasn't worse than the first one. He just didn't, with the exception of it looked like he had a better camera. Definitely still didn't invest in any mics.
He invested in the local booby bar though, because he had all kinds of strippers in the cast.
Okay.
In this one.
Yeah. That was the biggest change. There were some gorgeous women in there with lots of talent, and that was surprising.
Two hairdos is my favorite character.
Yeah, two hairdos.
Oh. So Jeremiah, what do you think, man?
I don't know. I think we got played a little bit. I think that it's not necessarily that he. Let me think about how to frame this. I don't think it's that he didn't learn anything in between. I think the camera work and stuff like that, even if he just learned, I can actually do something to pay people to do stuff that would be better quality, just, in the film and everything else than in the first one. And there were a couple sets that weren't bad. Like technically the scene in the locker room, right? That scene was a legit kind of scene. The whole thing. It didn't look like it was just wherever they happened to be. It looked like it was intentionally there, and
I
maybe
find it hilarious that the scene you're like, that's a legit scene, happened to be the one with all the boobs flying around.
It is.
Why did you pick that?
It stood out. It was something about it. It really shook me up. Right, you know what I'm saying? Really, something came alive, real deep inside.
It was the zooms in on the boobs that did it.
It was a lot of that, and so this one, I should say that, right? I'm the guy on the show that says this. I have kids. That some of the movies I like letting the kids watch, there's definitely a part I fast forward, but the rest of it, is whatever. And so, but something happened, in between. But I think that the moment when I said, okay, something's baloney about this, something isn't setting right with me, the authenticity of the ridiculousness of the first one, and that was number one when the cave people were boning under the tree.
Yeah,
and the second part was oh my gosh, the boy and his explanation for why the girl wasn't there. Okay,
that didn't feel authentic. You're right.
Yeah, it didn't feel authentic. It felt like, it didn't feel like it would in the first one, where they, if they're saying, because that is, I guess, part of what made the first one enjoyable, as bad as it was that at least the characters, as bad as they were, they didn't all know how bad of a joke it was going to be. Like, they knew it wasn't good, but they didn't know that it'd be like infamously bad. Like that and that it has like a cult following because it's so garbage. So they were doing this and hoping to do a good job. And this time around, I feel like they kind of knew. And like when the girl was laughing, she's like smiling, running away, and the birds are there. I felt like that's kind of how they feel about the film in a way. Like, not even serious enough not to laugh during that one part, because you didn't have anything like that in the first one that I remember.
No,
they were at least
that could have just been, something that should have been cut that wasn't. I'm sure that there were
probably
times where they were laughing but you just didn't see that, or looking at the camera and it was cut. I think that for sure there was one guy in there that was kind of like, this is just a joke and I'm gonna just
the main guy.
Yeah, like the main dude. But
Rod.
But you have to keep in mind that the two main we'll call them protagonists. that were in the first movie were like they were being serious for the first movie.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, this was like probably bucket list for them. They were an actor and actress that wanted to make the big time, and so they star in this movie. So I just feel like I think that their expectations of the director were probably, I don't think that they were like, well, let's try really hard, let's get serious, because this time he really is going to put special effects in there that is more than clip art.
Yeah.
I think that they knew that what they were getting into, but I think that they had to have signed up for it only for the purpose of the fact that this became a cult film,
self-awareness of it.
And that they saw the despite the writer / director not having a clue that his movie is a horrible piece of hot garbage. But
you make a good point. If none of the characters from the first movie had been in this, it might have been easier for me to buy into no one here understands why the first movie sucks and they're just making another one. But because the actors were in it again, and there had to be at least some partial awareness to what this was. And maybe that explains some of the smiling. And when the birds were attacking and the blonde woman from the first movie threw 9 million punches in the air, just nonstop, she knew what she was doing.
And jumping up, grabbing, and there's nothing there.
Right.
There's nothing there. And she's like swinging. There's one scene where she's swinging and there's not even a graphic of a bird there. And then she like jumps and like looks like she's trying to grab it by the neck or something. And it's like, what are you doing? Kind of thing. And I guess what bummed me out, man, was okay. I started thinking about this about midway through. Something, Chad, that you told me, quite a while ago. We were talking about writing and stuff. And you said, with what you're writing, are you writing for your friends, like your family and your friends, or are you writing for a popular audience? I felt like this was a movie made for the friends. And I think that's why you had so many cameos, like the mom shows back up. Mm-hmm. What's the point of that? And you could tell that it was kind of slapped on because I don't think that there was much thought put into the intertestamental period of the film. Like what happened between, they admit years went by, but yet Rod and Natalie aren't married. And the mom seems like she doesn't really know what's going on with their lives. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, are you ever going to get married? And what are you up to and stuff? And that Rod seems like a way different guy. Rod doesn't seem like the kind of guy nowadays that's like wanting to get a wife. Cause that was something that was kind of there in the first one when they were talking at the restaurant and kind of what they want out of relationships and stuff and the person they're going to find. But now he seems like, he's got a lot of money. He's throwing gobs of money at a guy whose career is going down the toilet. And he's got this hot chick who was the former cover girl, apparently, for Victoria's Secret. And he's not hooking it up with her. He's like, well, we're just still dating. And
well, is it in the first one, wasn't he almost like borderline stalking her too at the beginning of the movie?
He did follow her down the street in a very
super
weird
into
way.
her.
And he grabbed her. Remember? Hey. Like grabbed her arm.
Yeah. But can you imagine being one of these actors, particularly the first one, or just being in Birdemic 2 and not realizing what you're getting into, and having the director be one of these people who are like, listen, I wrote a script. There will be absolutely no improv. Whatever's written on there. Can you imagine being one of those where you're reading it and you're like, I seriously can't improv something. Have you read this? This is horrible. That would suck to know that everything, what you're saying, doesn't make any sense. Like the jumbo. I've been attacked by a giant jumbo jellyfish.
Oh God, the jellyfish scene.
How about a giant jellyfish or a jumbo?
The jellyfish scene. Was that a moment where we all kind of, because that's in the sequence. There's a whole sequence. That's just absurd.
Yeah.
During that whole scene, like it's not just the jellyfish. It's like what led up to it. How they're walking on the beach right after having the green screen in the car when they're really driving in a car, and then they get to the beach and they just so happen to be on the same beach as Rod and Natalie. And then the random, there was no explanation for that either.
There was only one purpose for that scene, and that was, you guys, I know it's been a half hour, nothing has happened, so here's a little action. Because it had nothing to do with the story.
Or, hey, I bought a green screen on Amazon. We're using it, damn it. And I bought this jellyfish animation.
What am I going to do with the jellyfish animation?
Came with my MS Paint thing.
I mean, the whole sequence, I think that was one of the most, now that might have been one where they were trying to do something new, right? Like maybe he didn't watch very many YouTube tutorials in the meantime and thought he'd just wing it and say, like, I bought a couple of these graphics. Maybe we could try this out. I got a green screen. But it seemed like there was a lot of just, it wasn't very good. It was the whole sequence for like 10 minutes. It just seemed like so many bad things in a row that were just really dumb.
And that's by Birdemic standards.
Yeah, by Birdemic standards. And but that might be legitimate because if you think about it, it doesn't really, the rest of the movie has absurd stuff, but not that heavy. It's like you could feel the weightiness of how bad it was for a period of time, for like 10 minutes, maybe even starting when they're on the phone, remember? Where he says he's going to give her the you got the role, and she's on the phone and they're doing the voiceover. And it was so obvious and so bad. It just stuck out really badly. And then the next thing you know, they're in a car and they're driving around. Then it's the green screen. Then they're on the beach. Then you got the, and then Natalie comes running out. Apparently she used the bathroom or something. She comes running out and she's like, she says something from off screen.
What did I miss, guys? That's what she said. What did I miss?
Yeah, what did I miss? Mm-hmm. Yeah, what did I miss? But you hear it off screen, you're like, what is this disembodied voice? Who? Because I don't even think it showed her running yet. It showed it was her voice.
We're talking about the same scene. Yeah, it showed her run out of the restaurant.
But before she said it?
I think so, yeah.
I thought it happened and everybody ran around her, and then because I was thinking, like, who's this voice? And then it shows her running.
No, you're talking about a little bit earlier. Yeah, there was this voice that was just like it was just dubbed in there because she wasn't there.
Because she wasn't there.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
She's like, what happened? Or something like that. Or, are you okay? Something like that. And then when she gets on the phone, that same voice is there. Instead of having that, like, whatever effects that you would put on where it sounds like a phone, it sounded like whoever she was, the dispatch for 911 dispatch. It sounded like the dispatch was sitting right there on the beach with them. And she's like, okay, someone will be there in a minute.
The ADR work was incredible. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not recorded in a closet either. You could just hear the echo off the voice. I mean, it was beautiful.
I will say, though, that he did improve his, in Birdemic 1, the beach scenes where you needed subtitles because all you could hear were the ocean waves. Whereas in this, you could actually hear the dialogue. Maybe it's because they weren't so close to the shore. But,
and because they did their audio in another location.
Yeah.
And pasted it over top.
Yeah. I and it just occurred to me too, if one of the reasons why, and probably the main one, why I didn't like this nearly as much as the first one is because it was just a rehash. This was like Evil Dead 2, but less entertaining.
It's The Force Awakens.
It was just a remake, and I didn't. But it was like a remake, and like you said, Jason, it did get even meta at some point. But you had actors from the past that were like, clearly we've been in this situation before that was really not even talked about. It was just that the only thing that was talked about was, yes, we've all met. Here's where we met. We met over here, but nobody talked about, we all almost died together. We all lived through this horrible thing that happened to the world, where man-eating birds were killing everybody.
Everyone was strolling around in the streets like nothing had ever happened a couple of years ago.
Yeah. No. So, and the fact that it was like, okay, here's more birds, even if the storyline itself wasn't, or the shots, in the storyline, like instead of driving, we had walking, and then a guy meets a girl in a restaurant who's working at a restaurant
instead of a diner.
Yeah. And then they go and they go somewhere else and they go out to eat, and then they go to the carnival type deal. And it was the same exact thing, except for they meet up with the cast from, the other thing. They even go to some like VFW basement and go to some crazy white trash rave thing or whatever.
With the same singer.
Same singer.
Yeah. And he's even singing about time to party.
Yeah, you got RV instead of the van. They were looking for survivors who are everywhere. and they're going from location to location without telling us, what are you looking for? First of all, have you even gone to the police station? Have you tried any of this? No, let's go to the cemetery. Oh, that was a bad idea. So let's go to the zoo.
I bet there's zombies in this for reasons.
Yeah, there were zombies in here, that just a handful of zombies that came to life. And
cave people.
If this, I'll tell you what, man. And so I got tired of the birds, and I knew, the storyline was too familiar. But I will tell you what, if this dude writes and directs another movie, it will be my most anticipated, without doing birds. If he does something else, Bigfoot, I don't care what it is, aliens. If he does something else that isn't birds, I'm first in line, and I'll be probably more excited for that film than I would a new P.T. Anderson film. As long as it was completely different. And I think it would be even better if he used new actresses and actors that weren't kind of aware of just how bad he's going to make your life when you sign that contract.
As long as he fills the cast out from the night shift of his local titty twister bar, I'm there. Did a great job.
He did manage to get some pretty women in there.
It did feel that way, didn't it?
It certainly did.
If this guy made another movie, though, it would be Bigfoot, but it would be with a couple who meets at the beginning, and then they go out on a date, and then and then they run into Bigfoot. Blah, blah, yeah, it'd just be the same crap.
They run into Bigfoot 45 minutes in.
Yeah,
and then the scientist who studies Yetis. Yeah. And he's like just a random guy that's saying, look, they're losing their habitat because of global warming. It's going to be something like that. I mean, they're going to have to.
This is Sasquatch was originally a child, but this is what happens when we have McDonald's.
Yeah,
all the steroids that goes into our meat, etc., and then global warming.
Didn't it? It did seem like they coupled up almost every actress that was kind of in this, like the scenes where they're walking together. There's now two couples, right? The old school one and the new school one. And it just seemed like there was a lot of that, with the exception, even the hippie guy. He ended up finding a hippie chick who also just so happened to be, out in the woods living there and saved his life or whatever. So you had that. What's that?
With the great wig.
Yeah.
The guy with the great wig. Yeah.
That was a wig?
Oh, yeah, right.
Maybe.
It might have been. Cool. He's like, this is my natural hair, guys.
You know what would have been cool is if they would have, kind of like Halloween 2, how it starts off that same night. This starts off with them saving that tree hugging guy and his new woman out of that forest, and then they go on their own adventure, and the Birdemic thing continues. I would have liked to see more of that guy because he's hilarious.
This kind of thinking is why you will never be the writer that this director was. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just crap thinking right there, dude. You remake the same story. Come on.
Do you think that there was that cry for help in the film? Like the fact that I almost feel like by making one of the characters a director, and that, he was really wanting to do the independent thing, and harkening back to independent films and stuff like that, and that the reason why Hollywood's gotten so bad, and I think it's Hollywood the end, right? Saying Hollywood with the birds going toward it, I think it's kind of like the symbolism of all of this for him and his frustration with it, but also even the morality thing, because in the first one he was a strange bird, in fact, because he was against like sexuality and nudity and stuff in the film, which is why he even had her wearing like a swimsuit or whatever, a bra and underwear. There was nothing very graphic, and it had kind of that noir feel of, laying down and the room gets dark, and then the next day, boom, they're awake. It kind of had that feel to it. Whereas this one, he talks about that through the mouth of the director, like a puppet, where the director's pitching it to producers, and the producers are like, look, there's no boobs in this. There's no sex. There's no raunchiness.
I think it had more to do. I think his conviction had more to do. I can't remember exactly what he said. Had more to do with sex and or fornication than it did with nudity.
Maybe.
So if that's the case, that makes sense, because the sex scene in this movie still had no nudity. I mean, it had some, very non-erotic kissing. And
They laid down at least 4 different times.
yeah, it was like the remix. Like there was some dust on the DVD or something.
Yeah.
But there was the nudity.
But I wonder if that's why he incorporated that. Like his own frustrations come out in the story. That he's frustrated that these films. He's frustrated because people aren't listening to the global warming message. What's that?
You're thinking way harder than he ever did.
I don't know, man. I want to interview this guy. I'd like to actually sit down and have a serious conversation with him. I have a feeling that he takes himself very seriously.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think that he thought that this was going to be an Inconvenient Truth Part 2.
Yeah, he was going to change the world.
Yeah.
With this movie, and he did to a degree.
He did.
Changed my world.
Well, he lined himself up with Saw. He was talking about, and again, I think he's using these people as puppets. I think he's talking through all of them. And that I think he's like, the part where, well, you can do this independent film and have total control over it. And yeah, Hollywood might not like it, but it's the kind of thing that, that's your real breakthrough. And not only that, but maybe it could be a movie kind of like, and I thought he mentioned Jaws and Saw, or you mentioned Saw and something else.
You mentioned Psycho.
And,
Vertigo. He's a huge, I already knew he was a huge Hitchcock fan. And that being said, he has to have had cameos in both movies because Hitchcock always did that.
I told you, I thought I spotted him coming out of the grocery store or something at the beginning.
I thought he might be the guy on the beach, the random person. Remember they had the scene behind a person who's like on the beach, just kind of like standing there looking out at the water. Nobody of significance. It's just like finding a rando on the beach. Instead of just showing the beach there's a person. And I was like from behind, and I'm thinking, I wonder if that's the dude. That's what I thought when I saw it.
He was probably the guy who fell on top of 2 hairdos, the zombie, and like bit her neck. That was probably him.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you guys would give it a recommendation with the disclaimer that, what you're getting is a remake, essentially. More of the same.
That's tough, man.
It's still laugh out loud hilarious.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess for me, I would just say, listen, at least watch Birdemic. That's a must. Don't watch it alone. Yeah, watch it with somebody who has a great sense of humor, because it's one of the stupidest movies you're ever going to see. So, just
what would you say, Jason? What would you say?
Man, that's tough. Because part of me wants to say this is Birdemic with boobs. I mean, what's the problem here?
Yeah.
But I'm a bad movie purist, and if I think you're trying to make your movie bad, it just triggers something in my mind. And so I would probably say to go ahead and watch it. If you like the first movie, I mean, it's a remake of it. You're probably going to like it well enough. Yeah. But maybe lower your expectations some,
I'd say
have
the
a
same
beer
thing.
or two.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'd say the same thing. I'd say, it's the kind of movie, if you've got to take a poop halfway through, just pause it. It's not a big deal.
Or don't.
Or don't, just put some depends on.
Because whatever shot you're looking at before you leave, it's probably going to be the same shot you see.
Yeah, right.
It'd be Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, it'll just keep going. And so, but I would tell people the same thing. I'd say, see the first one. See the first one first. There's no reason, there's no necessity of seeing the first one other than you wouldn't understand the scientist guy on the bridge. But I feel like so much of the rest of the movie, it doesn't matter that you never saw the first one. And so, but I would still say, see that one first. I'd rather have them let down than to watch the second one and be like, because of the lack. But then again, what would somebody think? I guess, and there's something I don't know. What would somebody think if they did see the second one first and then saw the first one? Because we've all seen the first one.
They probably like the second one better.
They might like the
If that's
second
what
one
they-
and think like, well, it got way better. I mean, the first one, they'd probably think it's crappier. I don't know, but I know for me, having seen the first one first, I know that I was a little. It was a little anticlimactic to me, and
for sure.
yeah, and that I was kind of let down by the choice to just be redundant on the story and just. Even as I said, so ridiculous that they even have the exact same singer and he's singing a song about it's time to party. It's the same idea. I mean, it just has stardust or something thrown into it. And so, it kind of bummed me out, but it was still enjoyable though. Like I still had a good time, in part because Jason was here. And I always enjoy watching stuff with Chad.
At the end, when the guy, spoiler alert, at the end, when the guy fell in the pool, did you guys choke up a little bit?
Yeah, man. That was rough. I was more upset when Chunk died because nobody cared. That guy fought his heart out with a tripod, and you guys are just going to leave him there?
Right. And we just and we got to know that character so well that you were just rooting for him.
I knew all their names, everything about them. Did they even say anyone's names?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We were making up names for everybody.
Yeah. Chunk. We had Woo. I think his name was Woo, the Asian dude that fell.
I
in the
thought
pool.
that's what you just called him, and I thought, wow,
No, I didn't. Yeah. Woo got hurt. No, I think that's what they called him was Woo. So I think that was, I don't know. It just, and did it bum you guys out a little bit that like Natalie didn't say hardly anything for the first 30 to 40 minutes. And then when she did, it was really just jealousy.
Yeah, she had no lines.
No.
Yeah, she had no lines hardly at all. And when she did, it was like jealousy and rivalry with the other chick.
It's almost like the writing wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sort of, yeah. I think you might be onto something, Jason. But seriously, I mean, would you guys, if this guy had another movie and you found out tomorrow that he had some alien invasion thing, I mean, would you not sign up right away for that?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
This guy is a gem.
Yeah. I would just hope that he didn't learn a thing and he wanted to do it his way. What's weird is what's ironic is, Jeremiah, you were talking about the part earlier about where the guy goes to spiels about, the whole idea of how the reason why his film kind of flopped, the last one that he put out, was because Hollywood got their hands on it and he lost all creative control. And he went through this spiel about how if you have complete creative control, then it makes for a better movie, which I thought was ironic because this guy had 101% of the creative control.
Yeah.
And it's one of the worst ever.
At least in the first one. Because nobody wanted to touch it. I mean, even the makeup crew left after like a week. They did. The actors and actors were like,
that's right.
Yeah, they had to learn how to do that. They had to learn how to do lighting. They had to learn how to do special
I don't even know if
effects.
Jason does that. A lot of the crew left.
I know
including the
nothing
makeup-
about Birdemic. I've purposely not looked at anything
dude.
up.
including the makeup crew. Well, we only did it afterwards, but including the makeup crew, which a lot of the gore makeup was actually done by the blonde chick.
Yeah.
You can't tell. I mean, it looks professional.
In the first one, she had to do it. And actually, it's kind of funny because I think that the lighting got better. Like, I really mean it. I think that when they started doing the lighting, that the lighting actually started to get a little bit better. But they said when they first got there was a decent sized crew, like different departments that were working, different people involved. And they said after the first week, there was like tons of people who left. And then after the second week, it was just down to the actors, basically. And then they were told that the director was gonna fix the edits because he didn't show them anything until he did edits for this to add graphics, and then showed them, and they like were shocked, like what? And he's
hold
like,
on.
Yeah,
They're on a set where everyone quits and they're having to do the special effects and the lighting, and they're the actors, and then
And they
they're
stay.
shocked when he shows them footage and it sucks.
Well, they were more shocked. They were shocked about that, right? And this is
They saw the clip art stuff, and then he said we're gonna get different ones, but this is
And
what
they
we got
believed
right
him.
now.
and they believed him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He didn't
And
have
then
a
they
boom
didn't
mic
show him
on
again.
set, but he was going to nail the Marvel style special effects.
One of the funniest things in this was something I didn't even see. Jeremiah claims that during the lovemaking scene where there's no dialogue, he saw the boom mic guy in the background in the mirror, which is pretty hilarious considering he doesn't. Where was that guy through the rest of the movie? Because he clearly wasn't standing there with a mic.
He must have forgot to plug the mic in the whole movie. Like, he didn't know how it works.
Except for in the one scene that there is no talking.
I'd like to go back and see if we can spot that because I didn't see.
I'm going right now.
I didn't see the guy in the mirror, but I saw the thumb over the lens in part of that scene.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'm getting it right now, guys, real quick.
Yeah, the only thing I saw like that was like the
watching the scene again,
golf carts in the background at the zoo, and then of course the brake light hump or whatever in the window when they're showing the vehicle.
Yeah, it looked like the circle where the wiper attaches or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
so
amazing.
here's one. Hold on. Share screen. Okay.
It would be so much fun to make a movie and try your hardest to make it seem like you did this on purpose and even promote it as such. Like try to be as serious as you possibly can. You doing a share thing or whatever?
So see this here?
Okay.
Can you guys see that?
I don't know if I can handle this steamy scene twice in one night.
I need to make sure I can even. If you look right there, for one, that's one part. You can see the boom right here. Right between like kind of the V where his body and her leg come together.
Is that what that is?
Yes, it's got the thing to twist it and everything. It's the stand. It's got the two bars there. But then
all I
watch
see
this.
is a headboard, dude.
No, man.
With people making out.
No, to right over here to the right beneath StreamYard, the duck. If you look straight down.
Oh.
Yeah, do you see it now? But now watch this, dude. This is gonna blow your mind. This is hilarious. Hold on. Okay, there they go. There. There. Look at that. That's
a tripod
one
with the slider on it.
with the slider. Now watch this. Hold on.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't looking at anything.
Yeah, I was looking at her ass.
You were looking. Dude, look at all that gear, man. Right there.
There he is.
Oh,
There's the guy.
Is.
See him?
Yep.
I told you, man.
Wow.
Look at that voyeur.
I told you.
He's putting in maximum effort too.
Yeah.
You can see the light and everything, man. You can see there he is. Now, is that Woo? I think that's Woo, bro.
Dude, that might be. I can't tell.
So they weren't just maybe, it was maybe this is a little deeper than we thought, boys. But yeah, I just thought that was I thought that was stinging hilarious, man.
So do you guys have Jason, do you got a favorite scene?
Yeah.
One that made you laugh the hardest?
Oh God, I'm trying to think. What was the one at the beginning that killed me? Damn it.
There's so many that it's hard for me to remember.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my favorite, but the one that shocked me the most, I think, was the jellyfish scene.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because if this isn't self-awareness, this is the most incompetent human being alive.
Yeah.
And if this is self-awareness, what in God's name are you thinking?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a winner coming out of that scene.
That was hilarious. I can't imagine anybody like during screening or in the editing room looking at that and going, "That's a wrap. We got it.
Nailed it.
We got it.
Cut and print."
Yep.
You can see the green glow around her feet. I got a green screen. I got it right over here. I got a green screen.
Jaws.
I know how it works.
Yep. Look out, Jaws. We got the giant jumbo jellyfish.
Yeah. What about the ambulance scene?
Dude, yeah, I was rolling.
Dude, yeah, that had all of us. The ambulance and the green screen while they were driving.
Yeah.
And the boy saying the reason why his sister's not in the movie.
That
Best
may have
line.
been the funniest because you laughed so hard and it made me laugh even harder.
Yeah.
Because I think I was talking while he was saying that, or I don't know about you guys, but I had to keep, because we're talking to each other and watching a movie, I had to keep fluctuating the volume of the film.
The music was super loud a couple times.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's why every time there was music, I had to turn it way down, and then when there was dialogue, I had to turn it way up.
I think part of the reason I don't appreciate this movie as much too is because you guys were talking so much. It was kind of hard for me to follow the story.
Yeah.
There were so many twists and turns. I feel like I missed stuff.
Yeah. In all honesty, there was a point where I did feel like that, like we were talking too much, because I'm like, where are they going? What is it ultimately that they're trying to accomplish?
Going to the zoo,
from one
man.
place to
What are you
another
talking about?
to another.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Because there's people everywhere, and you can't hide the million cars driving by and the people walking down the street.
You think you'd shoot an apocalypse movie where you don't run into people out in the woods,
Yeah.
the desert? No. Hollywood Boulevard. Let's go.
Yep.
The zoo guy who's like, oh yeah, there's birds out murdering everybody, but not here. We take care of animals.
They're my
Yeah.
friends.
I'm like, that's
They're
what
my
the dude
friends.
back there said at the tree hugging guy. And if people think I'm being rude about that, that's what they called him in the movie. Oh, you're the tree hugger. And he's like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, it's a pejorative term for most, environmental
Stereotype too. He had his long hair.
Yeah. But I think there were a couple times where I was like, what are they doing right now? But I never felt that in the first one. Because I felt that the sequence of events, as stupid as it was, it at least made sense. Like they go into the store to go get some food, right? They go to a beach to try to find where they're going to do the Adam and Eve thing and start civilization over again after,
but
6
keep in
hours of
mind-
death.
Yeah, but keep in mind, they did all that within the same couple of hours. Like they acted like, they're roughing it. We need to survive. It's like, this just happened and you're on the beach, like trying to find a fish fishing, and you're like going to build a campfire and stuff. Just go to the 7-Eleven or the gas station down the street.
Well, they did, and that guy was working a shift still, even though it's the apocalypse, and he was being a dick about the food.
Yeah.
It was too expensive for them.
Yeah, the gas was what, $100 a gallon or something like that. He's like, he's like $100. So, but at least I felt like it made more sense.
And then after they got the gas, and they were on the side of the road, and that guy pulled out a gun, they left the gas. I don't know if you guys, Jason, if you caught that.
Yep.
Yeah.
They left the gas right there on the side of the road after all that.
And the gun.
Gas can.
And the gun.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So that's what I think about the movie.
Okay.
That's where I stand. So people
Well, there
should
you have
watch
it.
it. Yes.
Birdemic 2,
Yeah.
the Resurrection.
And if
AKA
people have seen the
remake.
second one first, I'd love to hear what you got to say about it.
What
email
psychopath would watch Birdemic 2 before Birdemic 1?
They should take the challenge just because we brought it up. I want to hear. I want somebody to talk. To give me their impression, man. We should put that out there, Chad. I'd say to put it out there, on the same channel as you did for the free advertisement, but I'd like to get a response, and so don't do that. We'll look somewhere else, Chad.
Well, the offer stands for anybody who wants to do that.
Yep.
Just send us an email, paleocheese@gmail.com. And
Are you listening, Jack NPC?
what's that?
Telling Jack to get on that, get us some more Final Guys advertising space.
Yeah.
Free is my
Well,
favorite.
You guys have mentioned a lot. I not every episode, but yeah, I would mention Final Guys.
Yeah, I've heard you yelling about me watching Birdemic for a while now.
That's part of the reason why we're bringing it up. Maybe the only reason.
Before you guys get out of here,
Mhm.
I want to say I want to come back again and bring my own bad movie that you guys haven't seen.
Yes, dude.
Okay.
I've got a couple of gems that, after talking to you at the beginning of this, that I know you haven't seen that I want to bring that will blow your mind holes.
Okay. You're gonna bring what's the Thor movie?
Rock and Roll Nightmare?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. I could bring that. You guys said you hadn't seen Samurai Cop. That's legendarily bad.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Room?
I have not. I want to see it.
I don't
I've
know
seen
that
clips from it that were
I don't
real
know that
bad.
I've seen it all the way through.
Yeah.
But I thought of that movie when I saw Birdemic because it's supposed to be the worst movie. I've seen way worse movies than The Room.
No, The Room just feels like it was shot by an alien. It's like the guy had never spoken to another human being before writing the script.
And he's got that accent, but he claims to be from what, New Orleans, right? Tommy Wiseau?
Yeah, that guy. That's a strange dude. That's a very strange dude.
Just a weirdo.
Yeah. There's no other way to put it. He's.
But see, I've never seen it, man. I've never seen it, and I've always been down with watching crazy movies with Chad. But dude, you are like the honorary member of this club, like from now on. So you're part of the group, dude. We love watching crazy movies with you, and so bring it, man. Find the craziest crap, and if there's anybody out there who knows this stuff, man, I mean that's your gig, man. So you know it very, very, very well, and so bring it, dude. Guns akimbo, guns a blazing. Just bring those films.
I'm on it. I'm feeling Samurai Cop. If you guys haven't seen it, it's that's a fun movie.
I'm stoked. Jason, man, I can't thank you enough, dude. Yeah. 3.5 hours we've had you
my
here.
pleasure.
So
my back teeth are floating, but it's my pleasure.
you didn't bring the empty gallon jug?
No, I got a catheter on Amazon and it's kind of working.
Well, then what are you complaining about?
Well, I check to make sure everything's himself. I'm complaining about when I put it in earlier. That's the problem.
He's like, I don't even need numbing cream at this point. I'm just.
Well, isn't that what we just got done doing? Basically, watching Birdemic 2 is self-catheterization.
That should be on the DVD case.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it was good, man. It was really good. We're glad for your time. And we'll see you soon enough.
My pleasure. It was a good time.
Have a good night.
So we're replacing the driving with walking.
Yeah, apparently.
It better not go for like 10 minutes, though.
I hate to break it to you. I think that's what it said.
Yeah.
This is just still going.
Yeah.
Oh.
How long has that beer been sitting there?
Seriously, don't drink that.
Oh, gosh.
She drunk?
That's what I was just going to ask. Is she high?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in Birdemic too.
Yeah.
How do you know he's the director?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't appreciate that you guys aren't focusing on this dialogue.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow. 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 Oh wow.
Look at that. That's hot.
Whoa. Oh man.
Oh. Where did that voice come from?
I don't know.
No. I need another beer.
Why not just use claymation at that point? Are you serious? That's how they explain how she died. She's not here. He got a disease from that fish that he cooked.
He killed her. Kids, stop paying attention.
Do you have any birds I can play with?